Good evening, everyone. Okay, let's start with the discussion. How was OPP? Like, how many of you felt it is easy? Maybe can you put up hands? Okay. How many of you feel it is kind of okay, moderate? Like, how many of you are able to complete till section 2? Many of you completed at least section 1? So see any more hands rising up. Okay, just wanted to know about how
So
this.
section 2 is good. Till section 2 I have done. Section
Okay.
3 was little tougher.
Okay. So how like how long did you take to complete till session 2? Section 2. Like there was 2 hours, right?
Yes, sir, there was 2 hours. Not more than I think 30 minutes
So within 30
per
minutes you
session.
completed the first 2 sections,
Yes, sir.
but the last section it was kind of difficult.
Yes, sir.
So can
Okay.
you please repeat what are we going to? I had network issues, so I joined
So
a bit late.
so we are discussing about the OPP questions. How was the difficulty? How were you able to solve the questions? Just the feedback kind of.
Oh yes, difficulty wise it was easy, and I think that everything was easy. But only I could not only clear one private test case in convert vowels to small capitals. I don't know
Okay.
what went wrong there.
Okay, fine. Like if you remember something like how you solve that, can you try it? Show us now.
Yes, I would like the question so I can solve.
Like I'm just asking, like you are saying that one private test case failed, right? So maybe if you could remember the code that you wrote, can you show us how you attempted? Maybe we'll discuss what might be the case that is failing.
It will take me a bit 15-20 minutes, but I'll do it. Can we wait?
Okay. Yeah,
Go
yeah.
on.
So you can do that on the background and you can let us know when you are complete with that.
Okay, sure, sure.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Who's this instructor? Oh, I am leaving Nectar, one of your instructors. Okay. Usually I haven't shown up to live sessions mostly this time.
Sir, what we are going to do today?
So that's up to you actually. I don't want to anyone to uh, sit in a class where they don't want to be there. So you tell me
Sir,
like
file handling.
file handling. So how many of you go for file handling?
Sir, your audio is not clear.
Like yeah, how many of you are okay with that we go with file handling?
Sir, we should discuss the OPP first.
Okay. So in OPP there are 3 sections are there, right? 3 sets, different sets are there. I think it would be like if you say any few questions that you want to discuss, maybe we'll discuss that. Okay.
Sir, last section, input output section, that sir pattern problem was not. I was not able to get it, sir. My expected output was equal to actual output, but sir, 2 of the cases was passed, public test cases, but sir, private test cases and 3 test cases, public test cases wasn't passed. But my outcome was equivalent to that.
Okay. Okay. So just a minute. So which pattern are you talking about? Okay,
Sir,
I
the
think
last section, last problem, second question.
okay. So people are having some discussion with this patterns. So what we'll do in the start of the session, I'll just discuss about the basic uh, file handling, and then I'll discuss the pattern problems at the last. So if there are any other problems you might want to discuss in the OPP, you can tell. Maybe we'll give that after 7 o'clock. Till 7 o'clock, I will be handling file handling. Okay.
Sir, I was facing
Yes, sir. There
some.
is a matrix problem also.
Okay. Then we'll also go there. Okay. Yeah, sure. First, we'll do the file handling part. Just a minute.
Sir, this will be the first session for the file handling, no?
Uh, I'm not sure. So if it is the first, I'll start from the beginning. Don't worry.
Yes, this is the first.
Okay. And then I think no worries. I'll just start from the beginning.
Sir, actually, I was facing problem in the portal when writing the OP exam. For first 40 to 45 minutes, it was completely fine. I'm having a broadband internet connection, so there's no problem from internet side. After some time, the portal started to take a long time to run the test cases. I was able to attempt the first two sections within like I think 30 to 40 minutes, and then when I switched to the last section, then it started to take a long time to run the test case. I asked the proctor for help. She said someone will join, but no one joined for help. Then after that, in between, my power went down. I was having my hotspot on, so I got back in maybe 5 6 seconds. But when I got back, the website was stuck. Then I reloaded the website, and then it was processing the website for 15 to 20 minutes. That yellow circle processing icon was there, and camera and everything was off. Due to these many technical issues, I was.
So what you can do is, Anand,
Uh,
so after the release of the results, there will be a discrepancy form that will be shared with you. Okay.
okay,
You
sir.
can describe this issue in that form and that will be taken care of. We'll see what we can do. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So,
Yeah.
can I retake OPPA1 improvement?
Sorry.
Can I retake OPPA improvement?
So your side is fully noisy. I couldn't. Uh, maybe you could type that in the chat. Okay, I'll start with our session. Sharing file handling. Maybe we'll go through the doubts maybe after some time. Okay. 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 Right.
Sir, for quiz 2, till which week is the syllabus? Because it's on 1st December.
It's for quiz 2 only there is no quiz 2, right? For Python there is no quiz 2.
There is no quiz to for Python.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You only have
There is
OPP1,
OPP2.
OPP2 and intern. So there will be OPP2 which will also include file handling. With the OPP1 syllabus, you will have file handling included in OPP2. Okay.
Sir, what is the whole syllabus of OPP2?
Yeah, OPP1 plus file handling. Syllabus of OPP1
Till
plus file
week
handling.
8.
Yeah.
That means till week 8, right?
Yeah.
So, sir, there won't be any quiz for quiz to
No,
Python.
no quiz 2 for Python.
Sir, when is OPP2?
It would be around next month, I think.
15 September.
15 December. 15 December.
It's in December.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, can I retake OPPA for improvement?
You can write OPP2, right? Because the whole mark, the whole grade depends on both of the, like the max of the best two OPPs will get the higher weightage. If you see the grading formula, you will have the best of the max of the two OPP score will have a 0.25 weightage and the least OPP will have 0.15 weightage. So I think when you see it together, it will be okay. So you
Sir,
can focus on
OPP2
the.
will be. Sir,
Say.
OPP2 will be tougher than OPP1?
In the same level, but you will have one file handling question along with the OPP1 style. you will have one file handling question. The concept will be same. The difficulty may be slightly higher, not too much, but the pattern also will be similar.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Excuse me,
Okay.
Sir, please continue the session after this. You take.
Yeah, sure. Now we are going to start with this.
Excuse me, sir.
Right? So those who are having doubts, so we can take it later. So just focus on the session now. Right?
I just wanted to say I'm done with the code if you wanted to review.
We can do that after this file handling part.
Okay,
right?
no issue.
Yeah. Oh. So in Python, so first we have to learn about how files are being handled in the. So what happens is there are these two functions that helps us to like open a file and closing a file. So there are these two functions which opens a file and closes a file. But when opening a file, there are different ways in which we can open a file. Okay. So Python, you have a function called open, where you will have a file name. So let's create a file here. Sample.txt. Okay. Now I'm going to open this sample.txt. Change the name. Sample.txt. So when you just try to open, Python opens it by default read mode. Okay. So there are different modes such as read, write, append, and there are variants. In each of this mode, you have two variants. One is text and binary. So in read mode, you have read text and read binary. Write mode, you have write text and write binary. Similarly, append text and append binary. So modes, variants. Okay. But by default, it opens in read mode, basically read text mode. You don't specify any mode here. And what you get, so this is a function, right? So this function will return something. What does it return? It returns a file handle. You can call it file handle or a file pointer or something like that. In Python, this is the path you go, is this. This is the path. And what it returns is given as text IO wrapper. Basically, text IO wrapper is something that's kind of a text buffer. So it's something more technical. But now you can call this file handle. It's a handle. So using this handle, we can perform operations on it. We have actions such as read, and you can specify an optional size like how much to read, how many bytes to read, or 5 characters to read, like that. Okay. For example, if you just do read, it will read the whole contents of the file. You have text, and you can print the text. I'll just open a terminal. Okay. And this will be better. Okay. You see the hello world coming. So one thing that we did is we never closed this file, right? So thus closing this is necessary. We cannot be sure. So why closing is necessary is sometimes if you don't close the file handle, you cannot write into a file. Like there would be if you don't close it, assume you want to write it into a file. If you now we have opened it in the read mode, then if you want to write something or append something to it, you cannot do it in the read mode, right? Then you cannot use open again also, because that file is being opened by another thing, so it will cause. So what happens? So when you do open, Python don't have permissions to open the file, right? It is the OS that lets this program read that file in some sense. So if you don't close it, OS will say that, hey, this program is using this file, so another program may not be able to use that file when it is using it, right? So those kind of problems will happen. So when it's something is like that, so you should be always ensure that you close the handle once you did what you need to do. So you should close it. Okay. You don't see a difference here, but it is doing something different inside. Okay. When you do multiple read and write, you might notice an example where that is being the case. And now, so there is these two steps we need to follow, right? Opening and closing. So what people came up with is a different kind of syntactic notation that lets us define our open statement in an easier manner without using close. Because people, if the code here is long, people usually forget the closing part because it comes at the very bottom of it. So what people suggested is you don't use this notation frequently. Only if you know that you are closing it. Otherwise, use this notation. The with open notation. In this syntax, if you use it like this and as if. So now this if is just this. And you can do what you want to do here, indented within the block. So now this syntax clearly tells that when the file is opened and when it is closed. After this indentation, automatically the code you write after here is where the file is automatically closed. So only within this indentation, the file will be open. You cannot read outside here. If you do this, it will raise an error because it is already closed. And you can also do the operations after you close it. Once you close the file, you won't be able to do this again. Okay. So that you use this notation, which is very safe. You don't have to remember to put def dot close at the end. If you're writing a very large program, you might forget that, right? Since this is 2 lines, you might easily notice I have closed this. But if it is very long, it will be difficult to ensure that the file is being closed. So that's why we need to be careful and use this notation for handling the files. Okay. These both are equivalent codes. These both are. Basically, what you do here will be here and open, and what variable name you want to have with the handle will be here, and you don't want to write the close. So that's the idea. Now we are reading things in this mode, right? Let's do one thing. Let's read in 2 bytes, 2 characters. So what happens now? Only the first 2 characters will be printed. You can read the next 2 characters like this. So when you do this kind of operations on a file, like now we read first 2 characters, right? Then you call read to, then what happens? It is not the first 2 characters that is being read. It is the next 2 characters. See, the next 2 characters are read when you call it again. So this handle or this file text IO wrapper internally maintains something called as a cursor. You know, the cursor is like something like a point, right? So initially it will be at the start of the file. Then you read to, it reads 2 characters and the cursor move to the next position. Okay. Then you read again. Then what happens? The next 2 characters will be there. Okay. So this kind of things will be happening. And if you want to move that file, there is like the cursor, there is a function f.seek. So let's check whether this is seekable. So in not all streams are seekable. It might be, let's check whether this file stream is seekable. True. This means mostly when you read a text file, it is seekable. But standard inputs, you can also read from standard input, but that is not seekable. So you can use the function seek here. If you do seek 0, it will go to the first position, the 0th position. And then if you again read, so it is like rereading the part kind of thing. You see, again you came to achieve. When I did this, I don't have to print this. When I did seek, it went to the top again, and I read the next 2 characters. So now you can imagine how that cursor is being there, right? Fine. We mostly won't use this seek function, and we mostly don't use this kind of 2 characters. It's a very specific use case. Mostly while doing string processing, we usually read by lines or read by the whole content. This is the mostly we'll do these things only. Okay, so you can read the whole content by text equal to read f dot read. So this will give you a whole string that you need, or you will do something line by line. So let's add multiple lines. Okay. Okay, now what you can do, you can use read line function that reads only the first line, but including the next line character. So in each line there will be a next line character, right? So it reads that also. Prints text. So print, while printing, by default adds the next line character, correct? When you do this, you will get an additional next line because one next line is coming from the read line, because it reads this next line character around here, and the next text line coming from print. Print will by default add a next line character, right? You see another line being here. That's because of the print. If you use prints n is equal to empty, you won't see an additional line. See? Is that clear? How read line works? So mostly we read line by line in text. Most of the text formats we used to read line by line and or the whole content and we parse. And one more cool thing that you can do is for reading, you can just kind of iterate over the lines like this. See? So when you iterate over, it will be like the first read line value will be coming into the line. Okay. It is just like you repeatedly read line using that read line function. Internally, it does that. For reading line by line, this is a kind of convenient or easier syntax. Okay. You can just iterate over the file handle. Does it make sense? Any doubts?
Sir, why it is printing empty line?
Yeah, that I said, right? It's how read line works. It also takes in this line, which is present in the file. When you print, the print adds the next line also. So if you don't want an additional line, you should say this to the print, so that because there is a next line character in this, right? So the read line function will take that also. Okay.
Okay.
So if you don't want that line, you should use this. Okay. So that there won't be an next line character after it.
Sir, then how we will print this in the single next line? Hello, then the word in the next line, then goodbye, and the word in the next line. How we can print that?
If you know how many characters you want to go, you can use like this read off and character value. If you want to go n characters by n characters, for example, you have to go in like 5 characters by characters. What you can do is while f dot read of 5, you can do something like this and print this. So, oops, what's going on? F dot read. Maybe you can do something like this. Yeah. While true. So this will, when f dot read will give you the character, right? When it becomes empty, you can say, like, this is the content. Print content. If content is empty, or if not content, break. In this way, by characters. It also includes the next line characters. That's why you kind of see these things. Okay. And see, this is the first 5 characters, and the space L and the D, the next line character GOO, that is 5 characters, and this is the 5 characters, this is the space, and world. Those kind of things. But you don't want to do this. If you want to go word by word, like not exactly the number of things, what you can do is just read line by line. And that's how you usually read the inputs, right? When you read input, how will you read? You use input function to read a certain line. If you want to split the words, you split it. Words, line, or split. Words. Now you will get something as a list. And if you can add the sub equal to slash n, oops, you can do this. That will give you this. So do you know what is this star? It does unpacking. So have you heard about this unpacking and packing?
Yes, sir.
Extended unpacking
Yes,
operator.
sir.
No?
Yeah. So it does unpacking. So it unpacks the list into multiple
Sir?
arguments.
Sir?
Okay, so yeah.
Sir, where can we use the strip method? Can we use it here instead of split?
So what strip does is strip removes the white spaces, like white spaces or any characters you can give from the both ends. So for example, you have a word with spaces on both sides, you can use strip to remove that spaces at the ends. Okay.
Okay.
So that strip is different from split. Split used to you have a character separated, string separated by some delimiter, space or a comma, then it splits into different list of strings. But strip, input is also a string, output is also a string in strip. Okay.
Sir, can we remove slash n if we use strip?
Slash n from where? From where?
Oh, no.
Okay. So this line, let me also tell this thing. There is a very quick thing about the split. When you use split, you may think that it splits with the spaces, but it is not. The split command usually splits white spaces. Every spaces are these things. It kind of removes all these things by default. The next line character also. So that's why we don't get an next line character around the end of this.
Sir?
Yeah?
I have seen that sometimes with split, the strip method is also used. So why is it used?
So if you split with space, let's see what happens. Only space will be considered as the delimiter. So in that case, you can use strip, but to the words. Now, if you see it as a list here, What happens? Because now only space is considered a delimiter. Okay, so
Yes.
it doesn't remove this. But when you use split, the next line character is also considered a delimiter, and there is no other words after the end. So it is kind of got removed. Okay. The split works with multiple white spaces also. So if you have something like, if you have something like 1 to 3 spaces, okay. Now, if you do this, let's see what happens. You see, it splits with spaces. But when you don't use this, like the default split, it gives you just this.
It will create a list.
It will create a list in both cases. But you
Yes.
see, when I split with spaces, it actually splits with those spaces. And there you will have, because there are 3 spaces here, it
The three
created
empty
3 empty
strings.
strings. But when you use just split, it will accommodate and it thinks it as one white space. A repeated number of white space together, it will think it as one white space. And it also don't add this slash in there. Because when you use space, it only delimits by space. So that most people don't notice this difference when the split is being used. I think there was a discourse post regarding that. You might want to check that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sir, so
Yeah.
it considers multiple space as a
One
tab,
space.
right?
Kind of one space, not a tab.
Like,
When you just use split, it says that there is a white space, multiple characters, but it considers it as one white space character, one delimiter. Okay. It kind of thinks it like that. See how this is. When you set it to none, by default it is none. When you set it to none, it will split on any white space. Okay. And it will discard empty strings from the result. So that's why you don't get this empty strings when you use none. So it's better you don't, if you just want to remove like any white space character, if the string is separated by any white space character, just use split. If you want to separate by all the white spaces. Okay. So assume you read the whole file like this. Content is equal to a read of. Then if you use content dot split, what do you think will be the output? It will split with all white spaces, right? So you'll get all the words in a single list. Right?
Yes, sir.
So it considers slash in also as a bit space. But if you want to read line by line, you can do this and do that. So this kind of notation will be similar to taking one line of input and processing it just like you do in the normal input output. Okay. That's based on the use case. And split has this special case when you don't do this, which is documented over here. So the next line, return, tab, all these things and spaces, it will think like that. Okay?
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Sir, initially when you used f equal to open sample test, but in lecture, Sudarshan sir has used a comma and then R.
Yeah, that we'll go into. That's why I described the different modes. Now I am just describing the read text mode.
Okay, so we
by
can
default, that is the mode that file will open if you don't specify that. If you don't specify this mode, by default it would be read text.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
That's what we are just now discussing the read modes. We haven't gone there yet.
Okay, sir.
You can also put /r, which is equivalent to this. So you see all these different modes coming in. So RT is text mode, and there is a RB also, like binary. It will open it in binary mode. You can do something like this. So we don't usually most use this binary mode. That is for reading multimedia files, like non-text based files, such as your image or uh, uh, video file. Those kind of files are non-text files, right? So we use that to parse what is there in that kind of files. But this file handling, like this text-based files, you can open with the normal text mode. Okay. And the questions that comes in your OPP also don't deal with this binary mode, only text.
Sir, CSV file.
CSV files are also text files, right? CSV file is also a text file. It's just that you specify what is how the text is structured within them. Okay.
Sir,
Some are
but
separated
CSV
values.
file opens in a Excel sheet, right?
That doesn't change the fact that it is a text file. If I create sample.csv, so in Windows, with the extension, the Windows kind of associates which application to open. You can right click and open it with the text editor. Okay, and you will see the text contents in it. Try opening an image file in the text editor, you won't see something readable coming there. Okay, you can try that. Okay.
Yes.
CSV is a text file.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Yeah.
can we split a string by empty string?
Yeah, that would split every character. So basically, you will have a different, like each character in a list. We do this. Oops, what I missed. Empty separate. Oh, it seems we cannot split by empty separator. So split.
We can just typecast it to list type, so it will separate
Yeah,
by
if you
character.
want to you can just typecast it to list. So it will get different characters. Like this. Okay. Okay. So you got an idea about how we can read a file in different ways, right? And one more thing is that in the OPPE, there won't be questions with right and open because it's kind of complex. So we just ask to read the input from a file and do some computation and print it to the output. So you will have a file and you can read from it. Okay. So just as you read input and print output, you have to read from a file and print out. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, how will the output be?
That makes sense. How will the output be? Each question have an output format, right? If you want to print something like that. So assume if a text file has, let's have a sample problem. Assume this file has something like this roll number and marks. It's like the standard input output format kind of thing. Okay, and marks. Okay, so how will you find the average marks? So this is roll number and marks, right? How will you find the average marks? One quick thing you can do is, if you are going by the usual value, total 0, you can read line by line, and you can split with a comma, and you will get the roll number and marks as string. Right? Roll number, but we don't want roll number, right? You can convert the marks to integer and add it to the total. So you'll get the total, but you also want to know the number of lines that is there, right? So, and lines. Now, what is the average? Total divided by. Does it make sense? Oops, whatever.
Sir, there will be sample.csv.
Okay. Oh, the file is different. Again, okay. That's CSV. It has this. And like dot split up comma. Therefore, it's a comma separated times. Yeah. This is the average.
Clear, sir.
Okay. Then it's just like you do. Oh, so usually what you do is input, right? Input of function and process it like similarly like this. So if it was from standard input, what you would have done is maybe in standard input we used to give the number of lines that you want to read in the first line. So you will read that line and use the for loop like this. But you know the number of lines initially. But when you read from file, you need not. You don't need the number of lines. You can just do a for loop over the file, and you will get the lines like this. If you want to know the number of lines, you can do this. And other ways, what you can also do is instead of you can start read it as a whole thing. Read to file lines. You'll have lines, right? And in lines, what you can do from the lines, you can split it. Split the each lines. So line dot split of or lines. But after the split, I just need the second part, right? That's the marks. So that will be 1, 1, and what you have, you want to convert everything to integers, right? Because assuming the marks are integers, there may be float, so it will be given in the question. So this also we can just put it here, and now we got the numbers. So this is the marks. So we can just return marks, sum of marks, like len of marks. This is also one of the ways for solving this problem. Let's take one sense. We are doing correct file. Split. There should be a second value. Is there an empty line? Right. Oh, split of comma. Yeah, so split it with comma. That. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, that is done. So you split. So we are reading the whole content, right? So we have to split lines or use split next line. So it will give us the lines, and then we split each line into comma and get the marks and the lines. There are multiple ways in which you can do things. This is one of the ways that we use this. Okay. I'll be focusing more on different ways of reading, and I'll just touch upon the other methods, right hand things. So now you can kind of guess which kind of problems will be there in the OPP. Right? Mostly it will be you have to read some data and process it and print the result. Okay, it depends on which kind of data processing thing. So maybe you might have to process each line by line and print one line for every line from the input, or you will have to print a whole aggregated value like this in
Sir,
that case. Yeah.
sir, in line 8, you've written line dot split with a comma,
Yeah.
and in line 14 you've done it with \n.
No. That line dot split is here. Okay. This line dot slash n is basically coming from this. So when you iterate like this, it will iterate line by line. But when you read it like this, what happens? It reads the whole content. So then you can use slash n to split the string. And another way, like when you this is one line, right?
Yes, sir.
Here, when you iterate from F, it reads line by line. But when you use dot read, it reads the whole content.
Yes, sir.
So I have to split it line by line. There is another method also called read lines. That will give you a list of lines. It will give you a list of lines. And also it also includes the slash n, because in every line the slash n is there, right? But if you do read dot split, you won't get that slash n, because we are splitting with the slash n. So for smaller smaller files, you can just do this. Everything will fit in memory. For long files of size MB GBs, you cannot do this. Okay, then you have to process it line by line. With this also you cannot use. Read lines also takes everything and put it in as a whole list, right? You have to read it line by line like this and process it. That would be the easier. The whole doing this would be not possible. But here also you can do this, right? In this iteration format also you can just use this to iterate line by line in some sense. Okay, this will also work.
Okay, sir.
So there are many ways in which you can do things. When you read, every content will be loaded to the memory. But if you iterate it like this, only that one line will be loaded. Others won't be there, right? Files may be very
Yes,
big
sir.
that won't fit into your RAM. So that's why we need to choose the appropriate way of reading the file for our use case. Okay. So storing all the marks. So assume you have a 5 GB of files storing on like some billions of students' marks. You want to find that sum. You cannot use this kind of comprehension to do that, right? Because in comprehension, it actually holds every marks as a list and then finds the sum. This won't be possible. Just using this method won't be possible in that case. In that case, you might have to use this for loop method. In this method, we take in one line, add it to the total, and then forget about it, right? So in this method, there is one advantage in that case. For very long files, you don't have to load everything into the memory to find the sum. But here, you are loading everything into the memory, then finding the sum, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Then we'll just
Okay.
quickly look through. Yeah.
Sir, how to use IPython shell?
IPython shell, you can just put if you have IPython install, you can do this. I think I don't have IPython shell. It's installed here, so I won't be able to use that. If you have it installed, you can use that just like this. Then IPython will come. Or
How
you
do
can
I
use Colab notebooks. If you want interactive settings, you can always use Colab notebooks. You are
can
aware
we?
of Google Colab, right?
Sorry.
You are aware of Google Colab, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that you can do use for interactive computing.
Can we do file handling in Colab?
Yeah, you can do. Yeah. Yeah, Mayu. Have any doubts? Okay. Any other doubts? Let's see more. So these are the reading mode. So let's go on to the writing mode.
Sir,
So
how to extract data from a dictionary from a file?
dictionary from a file. I am not getting uh, like uh, dictionary from a file means. Could you repeat your question?
Suppose there is a dictionary in a file, a text file.
Hello.
So,
Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir. Am I rebel?
Yeah. Mayur, are you speaking?
Disconnected.
So there are some other doubt, right?
Connected.
Okay, so let me tell you about different formats of files that are there and mm, some things like that. So CSV file is a very common format where you want to store structured information, right? You you may optionally have a column name also here, roll number and marks. So that would make it very easy to understand which column corresponds to which one. Right? You can just read the first line and leave it, and then do these things. You can do that by, for in our case, you can just do if dot read line, which will read the first line, and you don't need that if the file was there. And you can just do print total lines. Okay. So what would that mean? You get this. I'm just reading the first line. So when I iterate over, it will be start. The cursor will move forward, right? So it will be reading from the next line. But if you don't do that, when you have a column name here, you will get an error because you won't be able to convert this into an integer. See? So for CSVs with heading, you might want to skip the first line. Yeah. Yeah, Maya.
Sir, exactly. I have given the exam yesterday. So the problem.
So is it related to OPPE?
Yes, that is the OPP exam that I given to yesterday.
Okay, can we wait for a little bit? Like once we finish the file handling, we'll move into the OPP related quiz. Okay.
It's not about the quiz. It's about the basic thing. I have not submitted the exam. I've just given in a test mode exam. Will it be ended like a 0?
You didn't submit.
Yes, I
Is that
have.
what they say?
The
Only the
test.
submission, like when you click, yeah, I'm saying this, only the submissions that are submitted using the submit button will be evaluated because that is what evaluates the private test cases, right? You will be evaluated for only the private test cases. So only when you click the submit button, your code will be evaluated for grading. The test run button won't evaluate because you are not graded for the public test cases. Okay.
So finally, it will be 0, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And okay, so this is one of the structured format that we know, right? So there is another structured popular format called JSON. So JSON format looks like a dictionary, but it is not only dictionary. It can also have list and things like that. For example, you can have a JSON like this: name, some name, roll number, marks, some marks. Okay. Now you can basically, so Python have this built-in module for opening JSON files. Code JSON, JSON dot. You have to open the file first. The JSON. Set. JSON dot load, and you have to pass the file pointer. And when you see this content here is actually a parsed Python object. If you print content, you will see the dictionary. You can also try a type. It's a dictionary. Right? So JSON is not only limited to dictionary, you can also store lists. For example, if you make something like this, also store list. And also you can store a list of dictionaries, dictionaries of list, any level of nested structure. You can basically store it in a JSON file. So if I do this type, now it will be, this is a list. So type will be also a list. So JSON format is also a popular format used for storing structured data in a text-based format. This is also a text-based format. This JSON module from Python is easily, with this you can easily get a JSON file, like read it and put it back there. You can also write it. So for writing, you have this dump thing, but if you want to dump some object into a JSON file, for example, I can create a in Python here name something. As if this is the JSON that I got. Again, so for writing into a JSON file, you have to open it in write mode. Instead of load, you have to dump in the file. So if I dump in the file, you can see the JSON the object. What you have to dump? You have to dump the object that you want to dump. Now you can see the sample.json will have that object there. So dictionary and JSON support basic data types such as the integer, floats, and Boolean. And there will be some different because it's JSON stands for JavaScript object notation. So it kind of uses JavaScript based things. So for example, as present true. So if you do this, we'll see a small true here because JavaScript notation. It kind of uses JavaScript based notation. But when you load this back, you will get a capital true, like it will convert it to the Python type. Okay, so when you load this back, you don't have to worry about this. So this is, if you want to store or you can have something like marks and another dictionary, this is thing like that, maths, history, and put it there. See, it's in a single line, so you can do some kind of formatting. Okay. Using this in then equal to 2. If you do this, it kind of puts it in a very good looking format with an indentation of 2. So you can handle it, like save some Python objects inside the JSON and getting it back. But don't worry, these kind of things won't be coming for OPP. Only these kind of things or CSV kind of things will be done. But it's a good thing to know. If you want to know, like, show some kind of very structured data, not column like, you can do this. CSV and JSON are mostly commonly used formats for storing data. It's kind of tabular, but it is kind of a document based. This is kind of extra thing that we discussed. So it's a good thing to explore also. You can do that. So now let's go back to this. So kind of got a glimpse of what this writing is like. Like let's do one. Now our task is to convert this whole thing and catch every character and put it back to unbuffer. Yeah, any doubts? CSV, this dump and load is from. Okay, this is the question or answer. I'm not sure. I think there is a built-in CSV module. I'm not sure how it works and used it. We have CSV.load. No, right? It's kind of different how you use this one. You give a file. Sample. Let's check this. CSV. I don't think you have a very easy thing as load, and so it is kind of different. So I usually use this. Or there is another external library which won't be coming with built-in Python. It's called pandas. So most data processing people will use pandas for handling a CSV. So if you want to handle CSV, we can use pandas, but that won't be available with Python standard libraries. It's an external library that you might want to install. Okay. Any other doubts? Let's go back to writing. So assume you have to read the sample.txt and put it back to sample uppercase.txt. So I have to read a file and I have to put it back, right? So I'll open sample for.txt in write mode as this is the output file handle. Okay. So now we can use this. Basically, I'm going to write it every line. So I'll do read line, just iteration, and I'll do upper, like line dot upper, and then I put it in the output. So I read a line. Within this iteration, I change the uppercase and write it to output, which is sample upper. If I do this, you can see a sample upper coming in with cache. Writing to a file is kind of very simple. You just have this write method. You can write whatever you want and it just gets written. Okay. There are different ways of reading, but mostly this write will work for any kind of reading that you want to do. Just put a string in and it will write. And you can call that repeatedly also. So once you write in the right stream, it will go to the top. So what if you do? If I do, what happens if I do out f dot c0 after every iteration? The cursor moves to the top, and you will get only one line. Because once I return the first line, then I went here back. That's why this happens. For example, let's do something interesting. So this is hello world, right? Let's have this below. And now we will write this line and then seek to 0 and then write this line. Oh, that's what here happens. Let's run this. Now see the outcome. See, it's kind of because the second word is already there from the first line here. This word is already there. But why it came down? Because we added this next line character there. If I remove this next line character, there won't be any next line character. And then we do this. Now, get this. It's kind of bringing the cursor back to the beginning and editing the text. But we usually don't do this seek thing. Okay? But it is useful if you want to just edit a part of text that you know. Okay. Any doubts?
No, sir.
So in append mode, if you do this, like just a minute. Okay. In append mode, what happens is whatever the text is already there, it will be there, but it will be added from here. The basic difference between write mode and read mode is in write mode, the whole content gets deleted and you start fresh. But in append mode, the content there will be there and you start from the beginning, the end of the file. You add it to the end of the file. That is what append, just like the list.append, right? So if you do this, what happens? So this sentence is already there, and you will also add whatever is coming next. So now append will have the other two lines. The goodbye level. These two lines are coming from the input file. Right? And if you do this again, the output will have another two lines. It's coming from here, these two things. Okay. The write by default won't add an explain character, but print will add, right? But this write function won't add an explain character when you write things. Okay. So does append mode make sense? Difference between this and that?
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a doubt. If the file is read only, then is it possible to change the characteristic of file and then write in
So
it?
the permissions of a file are like determined by the OS. Okay. So if a file is only read-only file, so the permission is not granted to you to read the file, or there is no permission for you to read this program to read the file, you won't be able to read the file. Okay.
Okay, sir. So we are not able to change the properties or
Okay. No, no, no.
permissions.
If there is no way for you to read the file, you cannot.
Okay.
So is there any way to bypass that?
Yeah.
Yes, we
So
can like
that
write.
depends on the OS security. Like OS, so there are different OSs and different methods of file permission things are there. It differs from Windows and Linux. Okay. Those kind of things are there. So if you have the admin password, you can change any permissions that you want in a system. That's why security are there, right? If a file is read only and you are the owner of the file, you can change. Like if you have permissions to change the ownership or the if you have permissions to change the ownership of a file, you can. If you are a system administrator, you can do that. If you have root
Okay, sir.
permissions, things like that. Maybe if you are the
Just
owner
like
of
sir
the
logged PDF, just like sir logged PDF, can
that you
we?
cannot that requires a password. Or you want to build a encryption or decryption algorithm to beat it, which may not be possible until you have very complicated algorithms. But nowadays the encryptions are very strong, so that it might take lots of years to break that if the password is secure enough.
Okay,
If
sir.
the password is as simple as 2 letters or 3 letters, it would be easy. You can just do brute force, try all the possible combination. That's why people suggest you to keep a safe password, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll finish file handling with this. I hope you have understood how the basic file handling methods work.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So maybe we'll now discuss the OPP related questions. So what OPP related questions shall we start with first? Yeah, I think someone has tried right answer it. So you have did that thing. Like someone was doing a code right in the background. Who's that?
Ah, yes, it was me.
Yeah, yeah. So can you share that? Share your code or
Ah,
can
yes,
you just open
just a
in
sec.
your system? Yeah.
Visible now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, yes. Here's the code.
Okay. So given a passage with number of lines, convert all the vowels to uppercase and everything else to lowercase, right? So okay. So you are converting the whole thing into a lowercase, right? So firstly, okay. Then you are iterating through each of it and checking whether if it is on vowel, and if it is a vowel, we're bringing it back to uppercase. So that's the idea. Mhm. So you are splitting with taking each line and then joining this. So you are saying this one of the private test cases didn't work, right? Can you paste the code just in the chat?
Ah, yes. Hold on.
And I'll be able to check.
Check.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah. Just a minute. Give me a sec. I will check this one with the test cases.
Do I stop sharing so you can share?
Just a minute. I am not sharing it. I'm just checking the test cases from my side. Okay. I think there might be a test case that is configured wrong. Yeah, I can see a test case that is configured wrong. Okay, we'll give marks for that while doing the correction, right? In the for that question.
Okay, thank you so much,
So if
sir.
only that test case is being wrong, we'll give full marks for that. Fine?
Yes, I was done in about 55 minutes for the whole OPP, and the rest 1 or 5 minutes I spent on figuring out what went wrong. I printed the whole ASCII table, everything, and then I think so. I just figured it would
It
be an.
seems that is a mistake from our side.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah. Anything else? So I think we'll be only giving marks if only that test case is failing. Right? Otherwise, we won't give marks for that particular test case.
Yes, yes, everything else was working. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. So what other questions can we discuss?
Sir, someone was saying about the pattern question at the beginning of
Okay.
the discussion.
The pattern questions we can try. We share the screen.
Excuse me,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah.
Can I ask a small question?
Yeah.
Regarding OPP only. Actually, in 4 test cases, I only passed one test case in one particular question.
Okay.
But actually, that in 4 test cases, one private test case passed for me.
Okay.
If we submit if we submit that code, I got 0 test cases passed.
Like what you're saying is, when you click the submit button, how many test case passed is what is your mark. When you
Yeah,
click the test run, the private test case won't be evaluated. When you test run, only the public test cases will be evaluated.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay.
And
For the private test case only, you will get the pass.
okay, sir. If the passing marks for the OPP is 40 greater than equals to, no, sir?
Yeah.
It means if you got 40 marks also, you will get passed.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Actually, I got 40 marks exactly.
That is fine.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So now let's see about this pattern printing.
So
So there were 3 pattern printing.
excuse me, sir. If we get less than 40, then what is the thing?
Then you will be like, so the eligibility criteria, like eligibility criteria for the final score is you should at least pass one of the OPP. Your marks will be still there. It will be accounted towards the total marks. But if you fail here, you have to make sure that you at least pass in the next one. Then only you will get the final
Sir,
grade.
I didn't get the final score.
Yeah.
In what can be?
Final score in the sense I am saying talking about the whole course score.
I know the last who talks, he said that he got 40 marks. So that I mean, see how he got.
Oh, he might have calculated based on the some like this test
Sir,
cases that submitted.
Actually, in section 1 is 30 marks.
Yeah.
3 questions, each question is 10 marks.
Yeah.
I solved
Yeah,
2.
based on that.
I solved
Okay,
2.
sir. So that I got confused whether the
No, the actual
marks
results
are
are not
released.
released yet.
Yes, yes.
Okay, sir. Then we got for less than 40 also, we should get 40 marks in OPP too. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So there are 3 pattern printing problems. One is V, another is X, and another is N. Okay. So let's solve it one by one. So in V, you have to print something like this. Yes, I just here. Okay. It should be something like this. Backslashes here, V down, and forward slashes there. So in any kind of pattern printing problem, you will be mostly printing things line by line, right? So just focus on one line at a time. And in a pattern, there would be a trend that is going between each line. That is the trend that you need to focus on. So first focus on. So what are the different parts here? Just look at a line. So a certain amount of spaces before the back, spaces within the backslash and this forward slash, and there is a forward slash, and that's it, right? There is nothing more than that. So this is the trend for this many number of lines. And the last line, it just it is kind of different, right? It is just having a this many thing and a V, and that's it. Okay. So we want to figure out this trend so that we can iterate through this. So this is kind of a constant thing. It's always the same. But this has a trend. Okay. So let's keep this to the side for reference. And let's solve in this here. Okay. So in here, first achieve for how many lines? So given a number n, like 5, you have 5 lines, right? But this pattern of this backslash and forward slash will be there for n minus 1 lines, right?
Means we have to print this pattern, and the next one will be
Yeah.
the letter.
Yeah, so we go n minus 1 lines, right? So now I starting from 0. That you are aware of it, right? So let's take n is equal to, so this is 1 is to 5. Here, what is the thing? So we have
Sir,
certain
your voice
spaces.
is not clear.
So how is it now? Is it better now?
Yes,
Is my
sir.
voice?
Yes, sir. Better.
Yes,
so
sir,
there
better.
are certain amount of spaces before the slash, and there is a slash, and there is a certain amount of spaces after the slash, and there is a this slash. So that is the basic idea, right? So we'll use a f string. Okay. And so the first part is space. So there are some number of times that we need to give it, some x number of times. We don't know x yet. And there is the slash. Then there comes another certain number of spaces, right? But we don't know how many. Let's have this as y now. And then there is this slash. So this is basically the pattern of this lines. We just have to figure out what this x and y are, right? So now let's start. What is the first value for the x in the first line? 0,
Should be
1, 2. Basically I, right? I. What is the value of y? Now let's start. See. So since this is 5/5 line, so for here, how many is there? 1. Correct? Here it is
3.
3. Here it is
5.
5. And so it is growing like there is a pattern, right? +2, +2, +2. Right? Like the numbers are adding up like that. Correct. So if there are 4 lines, like 2 lines, just consider this one, this part. So if the value of n is 2, this part would be like considering that this is the value of n, like don't consider this part now. This would be 1, correct? So for 2, it is 1, and for 3, it is 3, and for 4 it is 5, and it goes like that. Correct? And for 5 it is 7. That's what we got, right? And now if you want to map these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the actual I, what will be the values? So since the total number of lines is 5, we started from this one, right? So this is basically this. I'm just going to reverse this to follow our order. And for I, how many spaces? 7, which is, if you see it in a mathematical sense,
Sir, excuse me, sir.
it's basically 2I, 2 in, okay.
Sir, just a query. Sir, actually.
So,
hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, actually the question was for the slash pattern, the number of pattern, the lines of the pattern should equal to the number of the input. Like if n is 5, the slashes must also be 5 in 5 lines.
Slashes in 5 lines. It's not like that, right?
Yes. These are 4. One more slash. These are the 5 lines and then the character. At the top, you'll have to add another slash line.
For 5.
Yeah.
So for value 1, this should be the answer, right? If
yes, sir.
Number of rows,
Value
this
0.
is the
0. For value 0. This will be the
no,
answer.
I think that is for the X-based question.
Okay.
Not the V one. Is it? I remember of should be the number of only for the X, the number of slashes should be the number of rows above and below.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, your voice is breaking too much in between.
Yes, sir.
So is it that case for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I think some network connection error.
Just a minute. So is it better now? Or still the same?
Yeah, better. Sir.
Okay. So now what we have is, so how do we like this is basically
Sir, your screen is not visible.
Oh, okay. So now let's build up a series. So let's build up a series from this to that. Okay, starting from this is the assume this is the first element. Okay, so the series is 1, 3, 5, 7. It goes from here. Right. So basically it is. So you can term this series like 2 into n minus 1. If you are starting from 1. Starting from 0, it would be 2 into n plus 1. Okay. 2 times and call 2 times I plus 1. If I is 0, the value will be 1. I is 1, value will be 2. And then this, right? So it goes on like this. 2I plus 1. So now, but since we are not starting from here, we are starting from here, right? So what will be the value of I there? So when this I is 0, the value here should be, value for I here should be
0.
Not 0. Okay. Here it is 1. Here it is 0. 1, 2, 3. Right. 2 into 3 plus 1. Right?
Yes, sir.
With this formula, the I is 3, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
Which is basically the total number of lines minus 1 minus 1. It starts from 3, 2, 1, 0. Correct? So the total number of lines is 5. N minus 2. Okay. or n minus 2 minus I, if I, right? In some sense, it would be like this: 2 power 2 into plus 1. You can substitute that there. And if you do this mathematical things and some simplification, it will change into to multiply that here. What happens? If you multiply it with the inside, this minus 2 will become 2 into 2 will be 4, right? Right? So it will be 2 times, sorry, 2 times n plus, sorry, minus n minus I. Let's keep the minus I also inside. Minus I plus minus. So let's take this value. So our n is 5, right? So I is 0. N minus I is 5, 10, 7. We got 7, right? Now let's check for I is equal to 1.
Sir, but I for I equals to 4, it will be negative.
For I is equal to 4. 2 times 4 is 8.
No, 5 minus 4 is 1. 2 into 1 is 2. 2 minus 3 is minus 1.
Here. So here I will be 3, right? I starting from 0.
0. Okay.
Here I is 3. So it would be 2 into 3 minus n minus I, which is 5 minus 3, 2. 2 into 2, 4. And 4 minus 3 is 1.
Got it, sir. Right.
Okay. So that is the value that we need here. And that's it. Let's run this. Oops. Here one problem is this one. And the second problem is multiply this bracket thing. Space times this. This will repeat the number of spaces that we need. I think we have to print this. Oh, we forgot to print the last week. So for the last week, just have to print. So for 5, the number of spaces between this will be n minus 1. So it would be space times n minus 1 plus b. You can do plus b, or you can use a format string also. F string. Yes, F string if you want, but I think we need that. Just use b. So here I give it as a capital V. If you need a capital V, you can put a capital V as per the requirements. You will get the pattern. Right? So there is a kind of sequence that is going on, right? So once you understand the sequence, this will be easier. So for the X pattern, it is kind of very similar. The formula is like this only. You know, here instead of V, you have to put X, and you have to reverse this thing in the next formula. You have to do an additional for loop and reverse this thing. That is the reverse this thing in the sense. This would be coming there, and that would be going here. Oops. That is not always the case. Let's go through the formula. So if you want the next pattern, it decreases, right? So you want to come in a decreasing order. I think this formula is the same, but you want to come in the decreasing order rather than going from increasing order. You have to come from n minus 1 to minus 1, including 0. Starting from n minus 1, which is this. Okay. Okay.
Sir, your voice is breaking again.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for this part, we are going from 3 to like uh, 3 to 3 and back to that, right? They're starting from 3, assuming that like is it like that? But I think in the X question it was saying that the number of lines is so it might be slightly different for X. But assuming this is the convention, we are going to add that many number of things and do the same thing, but in a different direction, starting from n-2, n-2 till -1. So it should be 0 and going in a reverse direction. If you go in a reverse direction, you can see this. So we might want to swap these things for that direction. Then it would be fine. Next, it would be this. I think in the actual question, for the given n, it is said to be like this, I think. It's 1 -1. And we need not go till n-1, I think. Like you want to add only if x is like if n is 1, the number of rows above and below will be slashes above and below will be kind of like that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you might want to adjust the numbers like according to it, basically. So that's the idea between X and this pattern. And the N pattern is kind of simple, I think. If you want to check the N pattern, it is will be like this. I will have a slash. Now think about each line, one line at a time. Right? So there is always a first slash and the number of spaces before this and the number of space after that. That is only thing that changes, right? Starts from 1 to n-1. Here it starts from in the reverse order. n-1 to that. Right? For in range of n. So we are having n lines. For each line, print string starting with this one, ending with this one. Inside there is this, and there is number of spaces here within, and there is number of spaces here within. And here the number is I. So in the first line, that starting from 0, there are more space, and it increases till n-1. And n is 5. And here it is decreases, right? Which is basically n minus I minus 1. So if n is 5, the number would be n minus 0 minus 1, which is 4. And you get 10 back. What I'm doing in the syntax. Okay, this one. This. Right. So in this kind of every pattern printing problem, there would be a kind of pattern that is growing up. So you want to detect what is the pattern. Once you detect that, you will be able to like move for that easily. Okay. That makes sense?
Understood, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, when can we expect the results for the OPP1?
I think within a week it will be declared.
Sorry, come again?
Within a week it will be shared.
Okay, sir. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Okay. I think if there are any other doubts, we can discuss. Otherwise, we'll close the session. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Sir, can you please specifically describe the syllabus of OPP2 in this course?
It is same as the first one, except there will be one file IO question. In the last question will be file reading question. That will be the only difference. The first,
Okay, so number of
like the first section and the
question.
second section will be same. In the third section, the last question will be from file. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So mostly both are same. Okay. For every n input, first n is the number of patterns. So what is this question? I didn't get it.
Sir, the thing is saying like as you take initialization as 5 and equal to 5. So for us, the question was n as input.
Yeah, I just demonstrated the thing. Like the algorithm is same, right? Taking the
Yes,
input
sir.
and just assigning thing is just the difference. I just demonstrating for simplicity. I just put the end there. Okay.
Yes, but we got that.
Oh. Is it clear, Kumar Rajan? Okay. Yes. Okay. So what was your question then? Yeah.
Sir, first n will be output and then n number of pattern will come.
Sorry. Yeah. You print the output. Like what was the question? Every n input, first n will be the output. I didn't get that.
For every n input, n number of lines will be n number of pattern will be output, and first n will be in the first line.
N number of pattern will be output. I don't remember a question like that.
Could you please just print the pattern for n equals 3? What was the test case for n equal to 3 so that we can understand like what's the question?
Can you give a sample text, please, Kumar? Can you give a sample test, please? Okay, so maybe when the OPP's result is declared, maybe you will get to know the question. So I think this time the OPP, your submissions will be given to you. So there you can actually check your submission and check it. Okay. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you explain the second last question in the OPP?
Which set? So there are 3 different sets.
Actually, is the question related to average below marks, above marks, and fail marks and all.
So that is basically doing the filtering thing.
Yes, sir. I filtered everything, but I don't know how to pass the function because they have mentioned like criteria is equal to none. So just I'm passing the case for criteria is equal to none. For the
You
remaining
don't have, so in the function definition. Okay, I think you have confused about the default parameters. Let me share my screen.
Sir,
Okay.
yes, sir. This
So I think, yeah, in the question it was given like something like this. Filter by criteria. Right?
yes.
So in the question, in the function definition, you might have had list and some values and criteria. Right? Here it would be have none.
Yes, sir.
So, but this is not You shouldn't change this. So this is basically a default value. Okay. When you call this function, so for example, print values, if I call this function, filter by criteria, some values, 2, 3, and I say fail, criteria. So now what you will see is the values and the criteria, right? So you shouldn't change it here. So that is given none because if you don't give any value, it would be none by default. Okay, so you don't have to change here. You just have to write the code for different possible inputs that they were asked. For example, you have to put something like this. If criteria is equal to fail, you have to do it accordingly. What should you return for the criteria equal to fail? Filter the fail marks, right? For example, it might be return values for value in values if value is less than what?
Yeah.
And for the different criteria, you will have to write.
Yes. I tried in that way only, but I just test clear for only none case. No? Okay.
Maybe your code submission will be there. You can check that, and after that, you may if you feel that that is correct, you can fill. Right? You can fill the grievance form that will be shared.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Then we'll post this.